Buongiorno and welcome to another edition of Meet Your Neighbor. My name is Ron Falconi. I live here in the city of Brunswick. Yes, Brunswick, one of the top 25 towns in America for an affordable home, according to CNN Money, and one of the top 10 towns in America for families, according to Family Circle magazine. I live here in Brunswick with my family in the Fairway subdivision of our great city, and I had this idea back in the fall of 2006 where I wanted to invite local business people, local politicians, local people to come down to the studio so all of you can meet your neighbor. We have a very special guest today. He is the Associate Director of the Cleveland Clinic here in Brunswick, and he's also a family practice physician here in our city. And I would like all of you to meet your neighbor, Dr. Mark Meacham. Dr. Meacham, welcome to the studios.
Ron, thanks for having me.
How are you today, sir?
Doing just great.
Dr. Meacham, can you tell us something about yourself that not too many people know about?
Well, I'm not sure how well kept a secret that is, but I do a lot of fishing.
You're an avid fisherman.
I am. I've been up to Alaska several times,
wow.
And my trophy from that, I have caught a 60-inch, 110-pound halibut, which I had to reel in about 600 feet off the bottom around Sitka.
Oh, wow.
I've also do a lot of fishing here. I brought in something for you to share.
Okay.
I caught walleye here in Lake Erie, right off Edgewater Park. That was probably the second largest walleye to be caught in the state of Ohio, and as you can see, was featured on the cover of one of the editions of the Medina Post last spring. So,
oh wow, this is fantastic. Okay, and when did you do this again?
This is in May.
I was
last
in May. Last May. Okay. How'd you get interested in fishing?
You know, we have a family cabin up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I've been fishing since I was a little kid.
Oh, that's great. No, Doc, you're the Associate Medical Director here in the Cleveland Clinic for Brunswick. When did that facility open up?
We affiliated with the Cleveland Clinic in 1997, and our plan was to have a building within a year or two. Because of the financial struggles that the city of Cleveland was going through, that got pushed back a little bit. So in March of 2008, we opened our new building. When we opened that new building, Dr. Tulisiak, who's been the medical director all along, realized that he's going to have more administrative duties also with our affiliation with Medina Hospital, and asked me if I would help him with some of those administrative duties.
Okay. Hey, Doc, where is the facility located?
We're the large white building right in between the Giant Eagle Plaza and the Bueller's Plaza across the street from the high school. Okay.
Hey, Dr. Meacham, how many doctors work at this place, and how many employees do you have there?
You know, what's interesting is, as I was counting this up in my head on the way over, there's 6 family physicians with more coming on board. We have one general internist with another one coming. Okay. We have 2 pediatricians, as you know. We have a gynecologist. We have 2 orthopedics and 1 orthopedic surgeon. Okay. We're getting a nephrologist, a kidney specialist, pain management doctor. We have a neurologist, as well as physical therapy and radiology.
Oh, it seems like it's well stacked.
Well stocked and getting more all the time. And there's about, I think we have about 70 or 80 employees.
Wow, okay. Doctor, your title is Associate Medical Director. What does an Associate Medical Director do, and how did you become one?
That's a great question. After I was asked, I asked some of the other associate medical directors what our duties truly are. Smile, duties as assigned was one thing I was told. Attend meetings, and I'm the administrative go-to person when Dr. Tulisiak isn't there. Okay. And it's just I was asked because I had an interest in some of the administrative tasks that go on. Okay. I've been down to the clinic for some administrative development seminars, and that's why I was asked.
Wonderful, wonderful. Can you describe your educational background for people who are watching in Brunswick Hills, or maybe people watching on the internet right now?
Sure. You know, it's and I tell kids this all the time. People think they might want to be a physician or something like that. Okay. I grew up in Upper Arlington, a suburb of Columbus, graduated from Upper Arlington High School. Okay. I went to Miami of Ohio for my undergraduate. I got a bachelor's in zoology, which is a biological science major there. Okay. I then went back to Columbus, did some graduate work at Ohio State, I taught actually as I was a teaching assistant in the human anatomy lab and did research while I was there.
Okay.
Then I went to medical school at the Medical College of Ohio, which later became the Medical University of Ohio, which later became University of Toledo.
Okay.
And then I did a 3-year family practice residency at Altman Hospital in Canton.
Altman, yes. Okay. Okay. And how long have you been with the Cleveland Clinic?
Since 1997.
97. Is there a reason why you decided to pick family practice, and why?
There is. You know, when I was younger, a family physician was sort of how I viewed medicine, how I wanted to be, somebody who was part of the family, your go-to person for your medical needs. The family physician is sort of the quarterback of the medical family and sort of oversees everything, and it's a patient advocate, and it was a role that that I decided I wanted to do when I was young.
Oh, that's good. Doc, where do you live?
I live actually in Montville, just outside Medina.
Okay, okay. And how long have you lived there?
I've lived there since 2001. I was in Medina '93 and then moved out there in 2001.
Oh, okay. Are you married? Do you have any children?
I am married. I married a cardiac cath lab nurse that I met in my residency at Altman. She's still working in a electrophysiology lab now.
Okay.
And I have 2 children that are nervously watching from the back room. I have a 12-year-old son, Hunter, who's a 6th grader at Highland Middle School, and Madeline, who's 10. She's a 4th grader at Granger Elementary.
Oh, wow. Doc, what are some of the things that you like to do for fun? I know you mentioned fishing.
Yeah, we do a lot of family things. We just got back from a skiing vacation. We like to travel. I mentioned we have the cabin in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
Yeah.
I actually we play rock band. Actually, we have a family rock band. We're the Meeksters, and every once in a while we'll spend a Friday night and play rock band at home.
Good.
My wife's the drummer, I'm the singer, Hunter's the guitar player, and Madeline's the bass player. So
that's great. Hey, Doc, what's a typical day for you like in Brunswick? Maybe both as an associate medical director and also just as a family practice physician. What are the
Yeah, it's pretty busy. I sometimes chuckle that I'm like a hamster that gets dropped on the wheel, and the second I hit, I start running. I may have meetings before office hours. Sometimes I have meetings in Independence at 7 a.m., Medina Hospital, things like that. My office hours typically start at 8. I try to get in there a little early, get some paperwork, some telephone messages answered, and then see patients throughout the day, deal with those issues, typically in the office. And sometimes meetings after work, sometimes lunchtime meetings. And right now, as the Associate Medical Director, we're also expanding our family practice department to Medina, so I'm seeing patients in Medina 2 days a week also.
Okay. So do you travel to Medina then for that?
Travel to Medina for that,
Okay, okay. I think for every guest on the show, I'd like to play a game of fill in the blank.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Doc, when I was a child, I blank.
When I was a child, I wanted to be a doctor. My father said as young as 5, I was talking about being a physician. He actually has a encyclopedia, it was a cyclopedia that had the acetate pages, anatomy pages that you could look through the different organ systems. I was interested in that when I was a little kid.
So ever since you were young, you
Ever
knew?
since I was a kid. I mean, there were other things. I wanted to be Jacques Cousteau also, and Louis Leakey, different things like that, but came back to being a physician.
Well, that's good. Doc, when the one place that I want to travel to is blank.
Australia.
Australia. Why Australia?
Well, I enjoy the outdoors and wilderness, and would love to snorkel the Great Barrier Reef. Great white sharks, and certainly any kind of cruise. My wife and I like cruising and those kinds of things too. Hawaii is another one that'd be on the list.
Any places you guys cruise into particular? Or?
We've been in the Caribbean a number of times. My children don't understand why we can't do that every year. I said if you'd like to go to college, we probably can't do that. At the moment, I think they'd forego college, but I don't think we could do that.
Doc, when I retire, I blank.
Well, the joke is that my wife and I are going to buy an RV and drive and park in our kids' driveways and embarrass them. But we do talk about getting an RV and traveling and cruising and just doing things
good.
like that. I sometimes think I'd like to be a charter captain on a fishing boat, something like that. I don't know that I can just sit around, but I'm sure we'll still be doing family things and traveling.
Oh, that's great. Hey, Doc, can you give any neighborly advice to people who are watching right now in Brunswick, Brunswick Hills, or maybe people watching on the internet?
You know, I think family is very important. Obviously, you do too. I think that's great. And within families, I think communication is very important. Personally, I think church is very important for both neighbors, families, and groups of people. Those would be the advice I'd give. Make sure and keep open communications as much as possible.
Great. Dr. Mark Meacham, Associate Medical Director for the Cleveland Clinic in Brunswick, I want to thank you for coming down to the studios today.
Ron, thanks so much for having me.
Okay. My name is Ron Falconi. I am the host of Meet Your Neighbor. I just wanted to thank, once again, Dr. Mark Meacham for coming down to the studios today. Once again, I just want all of you watching in Brunswick, Brunswick Hills, or people watching on the internet right now to go out there and meet your neighbor. I'm Ron Falconi. I'm signing off. Ciao.